My name is Michael James, and I'm here today to talk to you about Cornerstones for Successful Michigan Businesses. Before we get into the Cornerstones, I'd like to give you a little bit about my background. I did my undergrad at the University of Michigan, and then I, like LeBron James, took my talents to South Beach and went to the University of Miami School of Law. After practicing in Miami for several years, I returned to the great state of Michigan to earn my M.B.A. at Michigan State University in Human Resources, Leadership, and Change Management. Currently, I find myself back enrolled in the University of Michigan, getting my Six Sigma certification in healthcare. Over the course of my career, I've worn many hats. I started my career as a complex commercial litigator. I've also been a federal judicial clerk at both the trial and appellate court level. I've been a federal mediator, mediating commercial disputes upwards of $1 million. I've also been a business entrepreneur myself, developing businesses related to the legal field. And I've also been a collegiate instructor, teaching organizational behavior and human resource management at Michigan State University. It is through these collective experiences that I come to you today with the cornerstones that I've developed. Some of these cornerstones are business related, some of them are legal related, but I guarantee that all of them will apply to you. Before we get into the cornerstones, I'd like to share a little parable with you that I think will help guide our discussion tonight. I like to call this Jack and the Three Envelopes. So Jack, the gentleman on your right, was the newly named CEO of a successful Michigan company. He was young, enthusiastic, full of vigor, and ready to achieve success and grow the company. His first day on the job, he goes into his corner suite and finds the CEO on your left that had just resigned from the position. The former CEO says to Jack, "Jack, can I talk to you for a moment?" Jack says, "Sure, absolutely." He said, "Look, Jack, this is a very difficult job, and you're going to run into times when you don't know what to do. When you find yourself in those positions, I'm giving you 3 envelopes to open. Open them in order." Jack says, yeah, I got it, I appreciate it, but I won't need the help. It'll be okay. Well, 6 months later, Jack found himself in an incredibly stressful situation. Sales for the company were down, investors were unhappy, and the media was starting to rumble about his ineffective leadership. At wit's end, Jack did not know what to do when he remembered the 3 envelopes the former CEO had given him. He quickly opened the first envelope, and in the envelope was a message that said, "Blame your predecessor." Jack thought, what a great idea. He holds a press conference and says all of the downturn in sales has to do with the ineffective policies and leadership of my predecessor, and I'm going to change these policies and procedures and get this company turned around. Well, the media responded positively, investors were happy, and sales ticked up. A year later, Jack found himself in a similar situation. Sales were sluggish, and investors were starting to grow unhappy. Learning from his prior experience, Jack quickly went into his desk drawer and opened the second envelope. In that envelope was a message, "Reorganize." Jack thinks to himself, what a great idea. I'm going to cut the dead weight out of this organization and get rid of all these people who did not implement my plan to get this company turned around. Well, he does this, and again, Wall Street responds positively, investors are happy, and sales tick up. Well, another year later, the company is facing difficult times, and Jack is just not sure what to do, but he remembers he has that third envelope. So before doing anything, he immediately opens the envelope, and in there is a message that says, "Prepare 3 envelopes." Now, what can we learn from Jack? I think that there are a number of things that Jack did not do right in this story that we can learn to take forward to our principles that we are going to discuss. The first issue is that Jack did not have clarity. Jack looked at the situation and he never examined the cause of the company's difficulties or developed a plan to fix them. Instead, he just simply went for the envelope solution. Second, Jack lacked focus. Once he implemented his solution, blaming the predecessor, reorganizing, He never evaluated the outcomes to see if they actually solved the problems, to see if they had worked. The third thing that we learned is that Jack was not patient. Jack just wanted quick fixes. Instead of thinking about the problems and developing solutions, he went right for those envelopes. Finally, Jack was not adaptable. Jack was satisfied with the cookie-cutter envelope solution answers to these problems. He did not craft solutions that were unique to the situation or problem. Well, I think we have a lot to learn from Jack, and let's talk about these principles. But before we do, I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and think about, truthfully, what are your business aspirations? Are you an entrepreneur that's looking to bring your idea or invention to life? Are you a small business owner that's looking to maintain success in sustainable niche in the market? Are you maybe looking to create something that you can pass down to your children? Are you a business professional? Are you looking to add value to your company and lead strategic and innovative initiatives? Or maybe, are you a retiree, where you're looking to start a retirement career to be able to do what you love and know, but to be able to do it on your own terms? I tell you today that regardless of which of these paths you're on, or on a completely different one, regardless of what your business aspirations are, the fundamental cornerstones that we're going to talk about this evening will help you achieve success. So let's get into those cornerstones. First, let's talk about the business cornerstones for success. I believe that there are four cornerstones that you should follow: clarity, focus, patience, and adaptability. The first cornerstone is clarity. Here, you must be able to clearly articulate your idea or plan. Now, this is going to be a lengthy process. This is where you're at your initial stages, you're trying to flush out your idea and develop a business plan or develop a project plan that you're going to pitch to your company. Here, you're going to need to do a feasibility analysis. What does the market look like? What are your potential competitors doing? Is this a good idea? In doing that, you're also going to want to look at who is your target market, who is your target consumer, who is your target customer. In looking at all these issues, you're going to go through a continual refining process where your initial idea is going to get whittled away and smoothed out to what your finished, polished idea or plan is. During this process, you are going to have to talk to other people, but I'm here to tell you, try to limit the people that you talk to. And this is for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is you don't want somebody to steal your idea, whether it's an invention or a project for your company. You may talk to somebody that has the resources and the ability to get this thing done faster and pitched than you do. The second aspect of that is if you don't have clarity in your ideas and you're starting to go talk to people, whether it's potential business partner or investors, and you don't have the ability to answer their questions and you don't have the ability to give them a clear picture of what you want to do, you're not likely going to get people on board. So, as I said, this whole process can take time, and ultimately what you want to be able to do is clearly articulate your idea in what we call an elevator speech. An elevator speech is a 1 to 2 minute presentation about your idea that very clearly identifies what your idea is or your project plan is and what the ultimate goal is. The second cornerstone is focus. You must stay focused on your goals. You know, we all think that we're phenomenal multitaskers, but in truth, it's just not true. Studies show that we can only really process 2 or 3 events at a time, and gentlemen, the women do it far better than we do. So you want to stay focused on what it is that you're doing. When you have a project, stay on that project. Don't think just because you have some extra time, you're waiting for responses from people on different aspects of your project, that this is a good time to start a new project. Stay focused. The second aspect of focus is to stay focused at what you're good at. Jim Collins has talked about for years about flywheels. And a flywheel is what you are good at, where your competitive advantages are, where your strategic advantage is. What is it that you are good at? If you are an electrical engineer, this may not be the time to develop a brand new website company where you're going to start doing web development. That's not with what's in your strategic package of tools that you have to work with. Being focused also involves giving yourselves extra time and starting small. Well, what do I mean by that? All of this process is going to take time. Ideas are born overnight, but the plans are not executed overnight. So you want to start small with what it is that you're trying to accomplish and give yourself extra time to accomplish your goals, to achieve your plan or idea. How should you do that? You should do that through milestones and benchmarking. Here, these are time periods which you are going to sit down and honestly evaluate how your project, plan, or idea is coming along. The key word there is honestly. You need to be honest with yourself. You know, we all go on diets, and we say we're trying to lose 20 pounds by Christmas kind of thing. And we get on that scale and we say, well, it kind of looks like we've lost weight, we're doing good. Well, we lie to ourselves all the time, right? When you are doing a business plan, when you are trying to get ready to pitch an idea to the executives in your company, you have to be honest with how you are progressing in your development. The third cornerstone is patience. And this is by far the most important cornerstone that you can do. If you think about it, all the business planning that you've done, all the feasibility analysis, all the market analysis, talking to people, refining your idea, you've put that much time into this project. Give it time to work. Give your plan time to work. What you cannot be doing is constantly evaluating whether or not you've achieved success or if you're doing well or not. That's what the milestones are for. That's what those benchmarks are for, to let you take those pauses. Otherwise, you're just wasting energy and detracting from your ultimate goal of your project or idea. The final cornerstone is adaptability. You have to be ready to adapt. I think that the last several years of our economy in this country have shown us that change is going to happen. It can happen very unexpectedly. Now, I'm here to tell you that change can happen. It can be both positive and negative change, but you need to be ready to adapt to both. Whether it's you're faced with hard times, you're faced with a piece of equipment that breaks that you're going to need to make emergency investment in, or all of a sudden you've got an order for 5 million units of your product from a major supplier, and you're going to need to have to fill that. You need to be ready to adapt. And I think that the most important aspect of adaptability that you can do is to surround yourself with the right people. What do I mean by that? If you are not a numbers guy, you need to go out and find yourself the finance person to help you with your project or with your company. If in turn you are not a people person or a marketing person, go out and find the right HR and advertising professional to help you get your idea off the ground. Having yourself surrounded by the right people will allow you to adapt to changing situations. And there's another aspect of this that I want you all to be very aware of. You can have the best idea in the world, but when you go to angel investors, potential partners, and everything else, the number one thing that they evaluate when they look at a potential idea is not the idea itself. It is the people that are involved in the project. If you have a great idea, but you don't have the people behind it to execute that idea, you're never going to get support. Now I'd like to transition into the legal cornerstones. Clearly the legal cornerstones, the law is a very complex area. There's lots of legal issues that affect business owners or businesses that are running projects. I would like to talk to you about 3 cornerstones that I think can be applied to a number of different situations. These are entity formation, defining relationships, and what I like to call internal contracts.